Hey guys, this is your girl Lira, and you're listening to Self Reflection Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Self Reflection Podcast. I pray and I hope that this podcast episode finds you guys in the best possible state that you can be in for yourself in today. And if you're not doing your best, I hope and I pray that you create some time to do some self reflection. And also, please, I want to remind you in this moment if you are going through a challenging time where you can't handle the emotions by yourself, please go out and seek some support, right? Talk to a friend, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapist, talk to a pastor if you are someone that believe in that type of religion, right? Just don't feel like you got to do this thing by yourself because we're not supposed to do life by ourselves, guys. We're social beings and we need people in our life. So if you are feeling, negative emotions in this time, please go out and get that support. You know what I'm saying? Because life is a lot more simpler and easier when we're able to socialize and mingle and, get feedback from other people, right? Um, We are going to get into our podcast episode for today. Today, I am excited to bring on another amazing guest, one of our own brothers from Africa, creating amazing music out here in the Bay Area, right? Self Reflection Podcast is about to be the house for all the artists out here in the Bay Area. So today, I want to welcome our brother Tantum on Self Reflection Podcast.
Hi
Hello,
there.
welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Oh
you.
man, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Before we get into the conversation
Mhm.
today, can you please tell our friends and family members out there who are you? Give them a little background for those that don't know you just yet.
Yeah, definitely. I can do that. Hey guys, my name is Tantum Ra. I live in the Bay Area. Originally, I'm from the Congo, DRC, and I've been making music for a minute now. I enjoy doing it, and if you got time, check me out, and also check us out.
Yeah.
We here to talk about a lot of things. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but I know it's gonna be necessary for for people that actually need. Oh, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. Yeah, I'm getting
But
nervous, man.
thank you so much for joining us, guys. We are also going to put his social media tag in the description part of this podcast. So you know, don't worry, we got y'all. Thank you again so much for joining us on Self Reflection Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I know you went down to LA last week,
Yeah,
right? How was that trip?
not so much fun, but yeah, it was more of work.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of music, I still have my 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I dabble sometimes. So
Yeah.
when I'm in the Bay, I do more of medical stuff, but I also have a gig that I do on the side that's more like IT.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with servers. So I'm a freelancer. I work with a lot of different company to help install servers.
Yeah.
So I like it because of the traveling. It's a whole lot of
Yeah.
traveling. Yeah.
I think, that's not even part of our question here, but I feel like being a young artist growing up, including myself, right? Someone that has like a 9 to 5 trying to grow into this space.
Mhm.
Um, you know, how do you balance both of like you having a 9 to 5 hustling and then also turning around and start working on your music and hustling as well in that space?
It's hard because sometimes you know one tends to get the best of the other because
Mm-hmm.
there's some like personally last the whole last year I dropped music here and there, but I feel like I was in a space where I wanted to focus more into my hustle.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I need to get this money.
Yes.
And even though I was doing that, I was had in my like in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm doing this to feed my dream. and my dream
Mm.
is my music.
Mhm.
So you don't balance it, but whatever you do, you just gotta remember the goal, what you want to do.
Yeah, because I recently just like quit my job too as well. I
That's
know.
what I've been trying to do that for the longest,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
It is hard because like you have to pay bills. Like you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you have to get all these other like things in your life, like creating a podcast, right? You have to pay studio time and all
Hmm.
this other stuff. So it's like it's really challenging to be able to be in those spaces. So I kind of understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from. So yeah, it's the struggle, you know.
No, like it is tough, but then I'm also like, right now I'm very jealous of you for taking that stand. Like, okay, cool. I want to do this, so I'm gonna leave my job and focus on this. It's very hard,
Hmm.
but in doing it, like actually standing up on business, be like, I'm doing this. I'm proud of you.
Oh,
It's
thank
crazy.
you. You know, but we still need money
Yeah.
somehow.
Oh yeah.
We're
I
gonna
mean, money comes, right? Money comes
yeah,
and goes,
that's
and
true. That's
but
true.
as long as you remember your goals, I feel like whatever you do, money's still gonna come.
Hmm. I love that. Okay. So our first question here for you is with Afrobeats and African music, right, gaining so much recognition worldwide, do you think that the American industry, right, respects the depth of African music or artists as well? Or is it just a trend in society today?
So it is not a trend, but I don't think as African artists we get as much recognition
Mm,
from like different industry, like the American industry, from like European industry. I don't think we get as much recognition, but I don't
yeah.
think it's a trend. I feel like we're here to leave a mark.
Mm,
We're here to like put a stamp on like we want our piece too, you know.
yeah.
But at the moment, I don't feel like we get that much recognition, and because I'm Congolese, you know, I'm not saying Afrobeat is one genre.
Hmm.
What I'm trying to say is Afrobeat is deep. So
Yeah.
when you think about Afrobeats, a lot of people only think about Nigerian music,
Yes.
and nah, Afrobeats is very deep. And if I'm wrong, maybe some of my Nigerian friends can hit me up and be like, "Oh, you're wrong on that." But I'm like, Afrobeats was born when Fela Kuti moved from Nigeria, went to Ghana, and picked up some of the Ghanaian inspiration. Like, oh yeah, this together could do this, and then
Yeah.
went back to Nigeria to perfect it. But
Yeah.
it was not Nigerian solid music, and understanding it is like if you listen to the old Afrobeat, you
Hmm.
can hear like pieces of different African culture.
Yes.
Except the new ones is more like commercial, where we involve. You can hear hip hop, you can hear, but the old one you can hear a lot of different African pieces,
Mhm.
like culture on it, and that's why it made it easier for songs like Premier Gaou to travel all the way, like from Ivory Coast all the way to Nigeria to
Mhm.
Ghana. Like, but now, yeah, I'm just like, we are not a trend, but we have a way to go to get the recognition that we need.
Yeah. And how do you think like African artists can start to gain that recognition that they need? And not talking about like the Davido and
Mhm.
Burna Boy that are already up there, right? I would also say they're not even getting that type of recognition as well,
Mhm.
because one of the people that I will even bring up here is Akon, right? I think Akon is an icon. You know what I'm saying? Like the music that Akon put out in like 2000s, that stuff can never be replaced.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Akon doesn't even get close to the recognition that he deserved in
Oh
the
yeah.
American industry,
Mhm.
right? So how do you think African artists can start to say, okay, we are giving this much to the world. right? We're
Mhm.
giving ourselves to the world, but we're still getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah. That's a tricky question because I feel like there's much to do,
Uh-huh.
but then again, I feel like it starts with us,
Mm.
right? I feel like it starts with us because we need to recognize our own. Uh, by that I mean like if we're talking about Afrobeats, right? I know there's a lot of different awards for like African artists. There's like the Hades. Those are like they mainly focus on African artists.
Mm-hmm.
So Hades is mainly like is like African Grammy, and then we have like what Trace Trace Award, and but all that I feel like we tend to forget our own, our own stuff like the Hades, like the Trace, because every time I see it, like the people who have like power
Yeah.
in the I say power in the African Afrobeat scene, like we say the bigger artists, the Burna Boy, you never see them attend the Hades awards.
Mm.
But if you see like the Grammys, you will see Burna Boys there, you see all these big guys there. But we're not giving uh power. We're not giving I'm gonna say clout
Yeah.
to to whatever we are doing back home, but we are looking for recognition somewhere else.
Mm.
So I think it start with us basically trying to recognize ourselves
Yeah.
because I don't think I don't think like Hades the Trace Award they do it the way it's supposed to be done. Like when they talk about Afrobeats, they're actually doing categories where it makes sense to African people who listen to music. They'll be like, you have categories for Kupedekale,
Mm.
you have like uh you have francophone music,
Yeah.
and you have all these categories where when you go to the Grammys, it's not shown. They only show
Yes.
you like Afrobeats or
Yeah.
like outside music all together. They sometimes they mix us with like Latin artists, and I feel like once we start like recognizing what we are trying to do
Mhm.
by ourselves, everybody else will also see that and maybe learn more.
I love that. I think that's also a big problem that we have in the motherland in
Mhm.
Africa, right? Where we continue to look outside for people to come save us instead of
Mhm.
us like taking
Taking
that.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Your music is currently uh I was listening to one of your music and it kind of gave me that feel of like Kupedekale. I think it was like
Oh,
Moyoka.
Mario Kappa.
Yeah.
hmm
I like I was listening to that. Where did that inspiration come from?
Uh, so that song is me and this other guy named Samarino,
Hmm.
and Samarino is a really big artist back home in the
Mm.
Congo. So if you listen to Kupedekale and if you listen to Congolese music, which is we have Ndombolo, we have Seben, like all this. I mean, I'm not being proud of myself, but I'm like, uh, Kupedekale is Ivorian, which is more deep, you know, pick some stuff from the Ndombolo and
Mhm.
then put it together. So it was more of me like, because I do a lot of Afrobeats, I do a lot of Afro-fusion. If you listen, I try to mix like Afrobeats and Latin most of the time. And I was like, it's time for me to really go back to my roots and then show that side of me.
Mhm.
And also because I got tired of people thinking I'm Nigerian.
Mhm.
It was like, oh yeah, you're Nigerian. I'm like, no. So I
Mhm.
feel like by showing that side of me, people probably get to understand where, where I'm really from, and
Yes.
maybe if they don't understand, maybe try to understand more about it.
I love it. Actually, Lucky, that's one of my favorite songs. It was on repeat when I was getting ready today. I
Uh,
was on that.
no, yeah, there's more of that to come. I'm like,
Yeah. I love it. Yes.
I appreciate you.
I
Thank you.
love that. I think, when I was listening, I'm like, I wonder what category you kind of put yourself under when it comes on to music.
Um,
Because you're diverse.
I tried because I don't say that I'm an Afrobeat artist. I say that I make Afro-fusion.
Mm.
Cause here and there you catch me, I'll make Afrobeats. here and there you hear me on feature from like Latin artists. I was featured on this song called Wiki Wiki. It's like from Mexican artists,
Mhm.
for also from the Bay. And before that, before all the Afrobeats and stuff, I started making music and writing as a trap artist. So I was making trap music. And so I just love music in general.
Mhm.
So I don't try to be like, oh yeah, I'm African, I only make Afrobeats. No, I don't. I make Afro-fusion, which I try to fusion my culture with
Mhm.
everything else I'm exposed to. Like I'm exposed to rap. I'm exposed to like R&B. I'm exposed to here and there. I listen to Korean music. I'm like, so it's like
Mm.
I'm exposed to a lot of different stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why not trying to bring that together? And then so when you put it out, it's not like only my people's like to find themselves enjoying this thing. It's like different culture can sit down and actually enjoy.
I love it. Your music also carries a sense of depth, almost like a spiritual aspect to it as well. In general,
Right.
right? You think that like music is something that is being channeled from the
Oh yeah.
inside,
Oh yeah.
or just like a creation?
It's both. It goes
Okay.
both ways because uh, music, like not gonna lie, everywhere, every day, everything we do in life, music is incorporated, whether we like we hear or not.
Mm,
Let's say just walking down the hall right here, your footsteps makes music.
mm,
You don't hear it, or you hear it for you heard it for so long, now you are immune to it. And like every little thing we do in life makes music. So music is a way of life, and sometimes you have to harness it to create it so everybody else can hear it the way you're hearing it at the
mhm,
moment. So I can say it is spiritual and also creatively, because you taking the time to sit down and actually harnessing that music that you're feeling, that the one you're hearing that not everybody
mhm,
can hear at the moment, writing it down, going to the studio, recording it, or sitting down with the producer to make a certain type of beat that you want,
yeah,
is you creating what you what you heard spiritually and bringing it out to life and
yeah.
giving it to people.
I love that, and I also strongly believe in that music is spiritual. So like just diverting a little bit, right? Looking into the culture today in America, right? And the
Mhm.
music that is being created in America. How do you think that is impacting our soul in this moment? Especially when we come down to like the rap industry.
Mhm. A lot, because I can go back to when uh we all know Tupac,
Yeah.
and Tupac was arrested for some issues, but then in the court they brought up uh people like somebody shooting back at the police because they were listening to Tupac music. They're
Mm,
like, oh yeah, people are acting like this because they were listening to your gangster music. And so I'm gonna say that music plays a big role in our lives, spiritually, emotionally, and also how we react. And I think a lot of people knows that,
mm,
and a lot of people that make music, even though it's like their goal to make people feel that type of way,
mhm,
even if it's not, but they know doing that. Like I'll say, like I I personally I hang out with a lot of people who make like those type of music, like hip hop music that I'll say is ratchet or that brings message to just like killing and robbing and doing that. Those message actually like it's easier for those type of message to reach people because those message is like Okay, I'll put it out like this. We all, as human, we have sometimes we have alter egos, like
Mhm.
something that we want to be like. That if we had the chance, we would hesitate to be that. And then music gives you the channel to feel that way.
Mm.
So those type of music reach to people that see themselves that way and just resign with them. Because even if they're not like that in real life, but once that type of music reach them and it resides with them, who they want to be. And then some people try to act on it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it is bad, very bad to our community because there's people who are like super nice. But once you ride in the car with them, they start playing those type of music. They get too excited and they start acting up in the car. Maybe, for example, in the Bay Area, they'll roll out the window, cut somebody out from the window. I'm like, is I'm not saying the music is uh, spiritually evil, but I'm just saying the music and those people idea have alter ego that can be like they feel like they could be meeting each other and creating.
I definitely agree because subconsciously, right? Like you're saying, even if they don't think that like they're being impacted by the music, subconsciously their mind is grabbing onto those
Mhm,
messages and it's holding onto it, and you start to act or react
mhm.
without even you thinking about it because you already have that programming in your mind. Like that's I think that's how I kind of like look at it, you know.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of young kids in our society today acting out these things that are being portrayed in music because I think, you know, like maybe last week or so, this episode is going to come up a little bit later in the season, but maybe about a week or so, like five of kids in Atlanta was caught like with
Oh
guns
yeah. I see
and
that.
cars and stuff like that. And,
Mhm.
you know, when you look at it, it's like, where did they get that programming from? Because those are behaviors that they learn, like
Mhm.
somewhat, you know? And I think it's the same thing that you're talking about
Yeah,
here.
and it's easier for because especially men, we as a
Mhm.
young age we are programmed to be tough.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like this. You can't show emotion. You gotta be respected. And then when it comes to real life things, a lot of people think respect comes from money, women, and the holding a peace. So from there, everybody when they hear the music, yeah, I got this amount of women with me, da 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 da, and I got money, you know, on
Yeah.
my head. I'm calling and stuff. People want to be that,
Yeah.
so they want to be respected and they want to be cool.
Yeah.
So it's
I agree. You know, hopping on to this next question,
mhm,
what do you feel is your responsibility, right? You know, as we're talking about
mhm,
music being something that programs children and also adult as well, right?
mhm.
What do you feel like it's your responsibility as an artist to your community and to the younger generation coming up behind you?
Responsibility. Man, that's hard, man. Now personally, I really feel like uh, first thing first, as a human being, I have siblings,
Mm.
a lot of them. So,
Welcome,
oh,
African family. How
oh
many
man,
siblings do you have?
I have seven.
Oh, my parents had 7 kids too.
Oh what?
Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
why are you like?
I'm the 6th,
Oh man, you got it.
close to
You
the
got it
baby.
good. You got it good.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry,
Yeah, being one of the oldest one, I wouldn't want to.
man.
Yeah,
It's not a good experience.
I I can imagine.
But yeah, going back to like my responsibility as an artist to the community, I feel like I wouldn't, even though those type of music is accessible to everybody. Like
Mhm,
now, music is easy to get on YouTube everywhere you go. So it's free as well. So I feel like all I can do is basically not let myself fall into changing my message, my narrative. My narrative is to bring people together, to
mm.
bring different culture together, to sit down and enjoy it. actually enjoy music,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, I feel like nah, and I want my siblings to feel like the same way when they're sitting down listening to music, to actually enjoy and be like, oh, and whether it's the melody, whether it's the lyrics, they could just sit down, actually enjoy without having to like change the personality.
Mm,
Or if you could change the personality, I want them to be softer, like more relaxed, be more like, oh, this is a vibe, and
yeah.
like, yeah, I feel like that's the kind of energy I want to bring to the world, and I've been doing that, and I just hope I get better at doing it.
I love that. And you definitely, I want to say perfect. That's one of I
Oh, ooh,
was I was vibing to perfect. I was all like, ooh, and the little melody at the end, like I don't know what it was, a
the
saxophone.
saxophone, yeah.
Oh, okay. Look at me knowing
Sax,
my
look at, oh man, what you doing here, man? We're not supposed to be doing this. Come to the studio with me.
That's what I'm talking
Now the
about.
sax is nice, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was dope. I was all like, ooh. Like,
no,
anyways, don't get me.
excuse me.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. You know, there's a big one here, right? Because
Mm.
you call yourself the African elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, elephant is something that symbolizes wisdom, strength. It has a deep root connection into like the past, right? What does that name means to you personally, and how does it guide your art?
The African elephant is more so like the way I see myself, right? I see myself as uh someone that I am very like gentle,
Hmm.
very welcoming, and I try like to bring like I said, different cultures. So just like, we see elephants in Africa. Like let's I'll give an example of like Ivory Coast is the biggest African elephant country in Africa. So they're not talked about as much as of like if we talk about different countries in Africa.
Hmm.
And so I see myself as an African elephants because I feel like I don't do what I do for like to get as much recognition as sometimes I feel like, oh yeah, I need to get that much recognition. And then when I sit down and reflect, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't need that much recognition. I'm doing this for my people. I'm doing this for everybody that's coming after. So um, even though I'm like African is a big animal, they're also very gentle. So I tend to like just sit and observe and connect a lot of different artists because I feel like the Bay Area is small, but it's also big.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there's a lot of artists, whether it's African artists, hip hop, like all this different genre. For some reason, I feel like it's my duty to like connect all these guys. So wherever I get a chance, an opportunity to do that, I always tend to do that. And so African Elephants is not just based on music; it's based on like me and the way I see myself in the community.
Mm. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Self Reflection Podcast. I have been enjoying this conversation here with Tantum. And before we continue into our conversation, I want to talk about our partner here, Prolong, right? I just want to say shout out to Prolong for supporting Self Reflection Podcast. I think that this is one of the brands that if you do not have in your pantry, right, you need to get one, especially if you're someone that is looking into, changing your lifestyle when it comes down to health, right? Prolong is a non-GMO company, right? Every ingredient in their product is natural. And also, the base here is almonds. So if you're an almond lover, it's definitely something for you. Also, Prolong has products like soup. They also have products like protein shake if you are someone that enjoys working out and wants to get beefed up in the gym, right? Hop on that protein shake. And also if you use our discount code self10, you will get 20% off when you purchase a prolonged product. But I also want to, bring it back to our guest here. I want you to try one of this prolonged product.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm trying to do here on Self Reflection Podcast so
Mhm.
that we get real reaction from real people and on real time, right? And don't try to sugarcoat anything, right?
Oh
Because
man.
let us know what you think about this fast and mimicking bar from Prolong.
Sounds good.
So we do have two different flavors. You can go ahead and just choose whichever one you feel more comfortable.
Let's see. All right. For sure. Where are the based? Are the based in the?
They're US company
Oh,
based.
nice.
And yes, they have 20 years of like research done behind those products. So
So I got nuts and honey. I guess we give it a try, man. It's my first time trying prolong, right?
yes, Prolong.
Prolong. Man, this is trying to make me go back to the gym.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's you can take a bite and just let us know. And
Mhm. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's see. Okay. I can see myself eating this every day. So no sugar.
no sugar, no fake ingredients in there.
Mhm.
Everything is natural. This is
Yeah.
190
Yeah.
calories per bell.
Hmm. No, yeah. I like.
What do you like about it? Or what don't you like about it?
Okay. So I love sugar,
Hmm.
but then I'm trying to stay away from it.
Okay.
So this is like a step towards my goal of staying away from sugar,
Mm.
and I like the fact that you can actually like chew the like the
Mm.
nuts. It's like not like artificial flavors. So
Yes. Okay. Well, thank
I
you for
mess with
that.
it. Hmm.
Oh, thank you guys so much
Thank you,
again.
Paula.
Guys, if you, like I said, if you are interested in, changing some part of your health, right? Prolong is a pretty good way to go. We're going to get back into our podcast episode here. Um, you know, so when it comes on to music, right? Music is something that you love, it's your passion, right? But if music were to strip away from you,
Oof.
right, completely, what would what would remain in your core, the depth of you, if you didn't have music?
So if I did not have music,
Yes, if music were to strip away from you completely, what would remain in your core?
okay, I have a clarifying question. So if I've never had music from the get-go
Hmm.
or just at the moment, I don't have music.
At the moment, you don't have music, but that's a pretty good one to know as well. Let's say if you never had music, what do you think you would be now? And then go from having music and it being something that is significant to you,
Mhm.
what will be left of you?
Okay, cool. If I never had music, I say I'll probably trying to find a different sort type of art,
Mm.
and I've always been jealous of people that could draw, like painter. I suck at it. I try so much. I really suck, and I'm like, maybe I'll trying to give myself time because I feel like this is just my point of view. Like life without a way of creating
Mm.
is it's kind of hard
Yeah, I agree.
because I feel like we all need an outlet to kind of balance our emotions,
Mhm.
and music does that for me. And a lot of people do that with different sort of arts, right? Drawing or just like I said, dancing.
Mhm.
So I think I'll probably trying to find a different outlet.
Okay.
And at this moment, if I had music and it's been stripped away from me, I personally, first thing first, I feel like I'll still have the experience that I've had with music, like within me, because I've had so much experience, amazing experience doing music. I've met a lot of people that I felt like without music, I probably wouldn't have met those people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I walked into a lot of rooms where I feel like without music, I probably wouldn't be able to have access to those. So music, without music now, I think I would definitely cherish those moments more.
Mm. I feel like that's the same. And also, I love what you talked about, like creating an art. I think that's part of who we're supposed to be here on this earth,
Yeah.
right? I think we're supposed to be able to express that part of ourselves, because if if you're not expressing that, I feel like you're missing
Mhm.
something. At least for myself,
Yeah.
right? If I don't express my creativity, which most of the time it comes from like me writing,
Mhm.
right? If I don't express it that way, if I feel like I'm missing something, you
Yeah.
know.
I feel like not as much as missing, but limiting yourself.
Mm,
Yeah, because we do experience a lot of things every day. For each every hours from waking up to going back to sleep, we experience a lot of stuff. And not being able to create is just like you're limiting your experience to a certain point,
mhm,
and you're limiting somebody's experience because if you don't create, then there's a person that won't have a chance to actually like see those type of creation. I'll
mhm.
give an example of like movie makers.
Yeah.
So if there were no movie makers that makes music, man, I would never seen coming to America. So I'm like, we are creating allows a lot of people from opening up the vision, the creative brains as well. So
Mhm.
if we don't create, then you're limiting yourself and limiting somebody else's point
Yeah.
of view.
Yeah. I always say this, like, your gift is not for you, you know,
That's
your
true.
gift is for the world. And if you're not giving it, then
What's the point of having it, man? Give it to somebody. That's true though. Yeah,
I
because
I agree.
they would tend to forget and
Mhm.
feel like, oh, this is my talent. It's mine.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. I agree. I
You're
agree.
right.
Hmm. Okay. So, as we come close to the end of this conversation,
Mhm.
right, I think, what has been happening in Congo, it's really sad. And
Mhm.
it's sad that, you know, the mainstream media is not talking about it. The world in general is not talking about what is happening in Congo, right? This is not something that just happened this year or last year. This is a war or a crisis that has been going on for over 4 decades, right? With millions of people dying every single, time of this. I think over 600 million people have died from
Mhm.
this war over time, right? I was like looking at some videos and they talk about how the M23 groups going to there and like they're the ones that are causing all this chaos, right? What what message do you have for the young youths that are in Congo right now, right? Facing this crisis, facing this hardship. What message do you have for them? And then what message do you have for the rest of the world that isn't really talking about what is going on in Congo the way that it should be? And then I'll get to the leaders later.
Man, I've been avoiding that talk for a long time. Not because I don't want to pitch in, also because like from a young age, I feel like I've kept hearing about it,
Mm,
and it hurts.
yeah.
Like it really hurts, and I don't think it's people's outside anybody outside of Congo fault for not talking about it.
Mm,
then again, it's also everybody duty for not talking about it. Why? Because we have let technology take control of news. So, and technology is also controlled by some people. So you can see what is a lot for you to see, and a lot of people can't talk about it. Can even on social media because they don't have access to seeing it. They don't have access to knowing what's happening. And if I walk down the street and I ask people what's happening in Gaza, people will be able to tell me what's happening.
Yeah.
But if I walk down the street, I ask people what's happening in Congo, nobody will tell me what is happening because they're not allowed to see it. They don't have access to it. And this sometimes takes me back to a bit to like thinking like we talk about how China control the news and everything of everybody that sees it. There's no difference here. So I don't blame the people for not uh, voicing it enough, but I also kind of blame people for not uh, trying to find the truth, like trying to find the truth, or actually,
Yeah.
mm, at least trying to know why or how it started.
Yeah.
And for the people back home and for the young youth, I don't like, especially the ones who are younger. I don't think they have a lot to do, but like stand together and trying to fight it as much as they can because the the M23 when they're walking, they have guns, they have all that,
Hmm.
and Congolese population is not like you know, I'll say American population. You know, if you go to Texas, a whole lot of people owns a lot of guns in their house. We
Hmm.
don't have that. We don't have that kind of access. And just today, early before I came, I saw it like very distracting video of what's happening in Goma, and I was like,
Yeah. With the students and kids.
no, so y'all can cut this if you want, but
No, we want. Okay, I'll be real here. We want to be able to talk about things like this, even though this podcast is so much structure around like
Mhm,
mental health and like personal growth and self development. At the same time, like I feel like you would be the perfect person to talk about this
mhm,
because, like you said, you've been hearing about this since you were a little kid, right? And this is where you come from. This is your motherland. And this type of things that is happening right now is
mhm,
impacting those people's mental health,
yeah.
right? It's impacting their daily life. And what is happening in Goma, it's like I saw little boys and girls running away from school
Oh yeah.
because there was a terrorist group attacking people. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
they all died.
Yeah, and it like as you can hear in my voice right
Hmm.
now, like this is the type of stuff that like really upsets me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how and I can support other than also put out the word
Yeah,
out there, but please don't feel like you got to hold back to like,
I
you
appreciate that.
know, be gentle to the world because it's like at the end of the day, we have Apple computers
Hmm.
because of Congo. We have the cars that we have with Tesla or the electric cars because of Congo, right? All of this raw minerals, cobalt, and all these things
Hmm.
is coming from Congo. And the reason why all of these things are coming from there is because they're killing people and removing them from their homeland just so that this Western world and us, right? Because we're using these things
Hmm.
as well, we can continue to have those. But I do feel like there is a way that it could be done
Oh yeah,
without actually destroying people's life. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
if we go there, there's child slavery that is happening right now. But these are the things that we're not talking about
Hmm.
and it's impacting those people. So please don't feel bad. Like
Okay,
feel bad or hold back.
I appreciate you because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is your house, so I'm in your house, so I gotta know the ground rules. What can I say? What can I not say? So, but I'm like, I appreciate you for giving me that space, and yeah. So I was saying today, I woke up, I saw a video that was posted of the M23 walking in
Mhm.
the house. Mom had 4 kids, and one of them asked her to participate in a sexual intercourse, and the lady says no, like because they wanted her to do it in front of the kids. The mom said no, and so they forced her, raped her, plugged her eyes out, and killed her right in front of the kids. So those kind of things really like takes me to like think like what kind of human beings are we like, and nobody will know about it because nobody really gives a fuck about it,
Yeah.
and nobody want to talk about it. And power, the people want power,
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it. They're like, brushing under the rug top, and it's not something that's just getting started. It's not starting in 2025.
Mhm.
It's been there, and I'm like, so every time when I hear about situations like this, I'm upset. I get really mad, and I'm like, so we have people that call themselves, the world powers. We have the America, we have the Russian, we have all these people,
The UN,
and
African Union. Yeah.
nobody really. I'm not saying they don't know about it. For sure they know about it, but
Yes.
nobody is acting on it. And there was a time where Congo was not long ago. The president was like, "Oh, you know what? This has been going to for too long. We're taking action to our own hands because it's been a minute since they were talking about uh, fixing things in a democratic way. So nobody been saying anything.
Yeah.
And once we said to take matters to our own hand, America responded if Congo ever like take something, like take a step to like they would also basically defend the other side and attack Congo. And I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But now it makes sense because of everything that they've been, that been coming out here, the minerals and stuff.
Yeah.
But all that is an expense of lives, people, mental being. Because I'm like, imagine growing up, seeing your mom killed in front of you, raped in front of you, getting eyes plugged out in front of you, and you can't look away because they're making you look at it.
Yeah.
What kind of person? What kind of addition would you be to the society? And I feel like it's hard. And then from like things like that, I see life in different perspective because I'm like, now you don't know what somebody's reality is when you meet them. You know, sometimes we struggle here thinking about, oh, I can't make end meets. You can make it. Probably there's a lot of options for you to just be like, okay, let me go to a food bank, do this, food stamp, and do that. But I'm like, there's people who are actually can't make it,
Mhm.
and like people from Goma are literally running. Roma is like Goma is very very far from Kinshasa, and Kinshasa is where I was born,
Mhm.
and people are running by foot from Goma and then trying to get to Kinshasa. And in the car, that's like days. So people are running by foot. And just because they want to feel safe.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy because they're not feeling safe in their own country and in their own house. So yeah, all I can say for people like for the kids who are growing up who get to experience that is just that. whoever that's next to you, and just they should just stand up together, and hold each other hand because there's nobody else that can really come and hold your hand for you. Just people who are around you, your community is who you got and who got you.
Yeah. And I know that's such a sensitive topic. I'm also sorry that I kind of just throw that
Nah,
out there on you in the
nah,
middle of this
I
conversation.
appreciate you for like. I mean, like I appreciate you for letting me talk about it because I feel like most of the time I trying to look at it and look away because I'm like personally I don't know what I can do to help.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I've been trying to avoid it for the longest. I know what is happening. I know everything because I try to keep up on it,
Hmm.
keep up with it. But it's like personally, I don't know what to do, and then not being able to help is just a whole like
I could
different
see it
thing.
in you. Like, like as you talk about it, I could see the emotions behind like what you're saying and how you're feeling someone. And, I feel like somewhat that is somewhat enough because you're literally living their pain, right? In your body, I'm saying? Like, even though physically you can't really do anything, right? Because, all these like terrorist groups are being backed by all of these other companies and stuff like that. But I think just having the heart that you care enough, it's like means a lot and it goes a long way. Okay, guys, we're gonna switch gear here and we're going to get into the conversations a little bit more in
I thought you
uh
said the seat wasn't that hot. I'm burning now. Um,
um I also want to say thank you for opening up and talking about it in the way that you did. So thank you. When it all comes down to, like the done of your music career, when you're done creating the life that you want to create, right? Beyond, just creating music, right? What do you want people to remember you from?
I mean, I would love people to remember me for my music for sure, but I feel like it would be a lot better for me to be remembered as just a human being that I've lived and changed, probably touched somebody's life in a different way, and even if it's one person or two, I think that's enough for me.
I love that. This is going to be our final question here. It says, music is something, music is often a reflection, right? Because
Mhm.
when you're writing, it's you reflecting who you are. So that's part of your identity. How has your journey as an artist helped you discover yourself? And, you know, how do you like see your identity, right, within music?
And I feel like music has helped me discover that I'm very resilient. Because before that, I tend to like do things and this am I just walk away. And music is the only thing I feel like in my life that I was able to be like sitting down. I'm like, okay, I know I can do this. I want to do this. And then there was time where I even like, you know, in the beginning, I spend all the money that I spend all the money I have just to go to the studio. And I know I'm gonna need it tomorrow, but I am broke now. So I'm like, forget it. I'm just gonna go to the studio and do that. And the next day comes, I am broke. I don't know what the hell to do with my life because all the money I had spent on the studio. And then once I get the results of what I want, I'm like, oh, let's do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like music really showed me how resilient I can be. If I want something, I can definitely keep pushing until I get it.
I love that. Yeah, thank you so much again for joining us on Self Reflection Podcast.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate you for being here. Um, before we end up, you said yourself that you're a calm, reserved person, and that energy definitely like comes out. What do you do to stay calm in that way?
So usually, okay, I talk a lot, but I don't talk much. So saying that means that when I'm around my peeps, I always trying to make everybody, you know, be free, be who they are, and but when I am like really trying to think about, life, and I tend to be quiet a lot, say less, and just like so observe and then process everything I see and then talk about it afterwards.
Mm,
And then even my sometimes I feel like my answers that I've been given today, I'll be like saying more than I usually say. But my answers are usually like short but straight to the point.
yeah. Well, thank you for doing a huge reflection on
But
Self Reflection Podcast.
thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Self Reflection Podcast. I appreciate every single one of you that have joined us in this conversation. If they want to follow you on your social media, what is the handle?
Everything else, TikTok, Instagram, it's Tantum underscore RA, Tantum Ra.
Thank you guys again. And we're going to also add that on the description part of the podcast. Guys, if you have yet to subscribe to Self Reflection Podcast, please go ahead and hit that subscription button. I'll truly appreciate it as we look to grow our community here on Self Reflection Podcast. Also, our YouTube videos are now up, so if you have yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe to YouTube so you don't miss any other amazing episodes like this, right? I think our goal here on Self Reflection Podcast is to be able to be as authentic as possible and also just bring you guys stories that you may not hear on your mainstream media podcast, wherever you get your media from, right? Because I think that in today's society or in the media, right? There's a certain narrative that all podcasts kind of have. So I'm hoping that Self Reflection Podcast would be that space where it's a little bit different. We bring real people, real stories, and amazing journeys that we can continue to live through each other, on Self Reflection Podcast. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for joining us on season 3, right? I am excited for this season. This is going to be an amazing season. I think that the people that are already been on this podcast, including Tantum, right? I think that season 3 is going to be one of those seasons that we are not going to forget on Self Reflection Podcast. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care of yourself, love yourself, be kind, and be gentle with yourself. And please do not forget to prioritize your mental health. Create some time to do some self reflection podcasts. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye for now. Ta-da!
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Yay.